All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there's more than one medium to enjoy this content. And first and foremost is the blog. The blog is at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. And I know that's a lot to remember, to type. So wherever you are enjoying this content, look for an info, intro, open, more, description, something of that nature button. Click that, another box opens, and there'll be a link directly to the blog. The blog is where all the articles are in full with a link to the original article for free. You don't have to put your email in or anything. And also the video is there so you can follow along with the video. And some people say that helps them. All right, what else? There's Spotify.com. They have video and audio. RSS.com has a transcript when it's up and running. What else? What else? Amazon Podcast, Apple Podcast, wherever I post, it's posted as my FX Buddies. So just, yeah. And thank you. It is Saturday morning to be specific. So there's going to be noise in the background. I can't do anything with that. And I really wanted to post yesterday. I'm pretty much probably only going to talk about 3 articles. Yesterday was a good article day. Well, let me see. The negative things, there are some negative things, right? So the T-Man, remember he cut off the waiver. He ended the waiver so Iraq could get electricity, let's just say electricity from Iran. Well, the Minister of Electricity told Iran, we're not going to listen to that. Don't worry. Still send us electricity and we're going to send you money. Now, I think they pay quarterly. That's my phone. My phone may go off a lot. I think they pay quarterly, but I know they just paid them $10 million, I think in December. Either December or January. So the next payment's not due, right? So they have time to wiggle room, right? There's wiggle room. But then also, Sadani politely requested the T-Man to give them time. They need time. But it seems he's like, no, you've had enough time. You need to get on your own 2 feet. That's what it seems has happened. But it's Saturday. There won't be a lot of news today, I don't think. But, they always surprise me. All right. It seems in Syria, we are making way for ice cream land. If you're new to me, you may not know. There's a city. Let me see. It has real in it. And it has is in it. I don't say it. I say ice cream land. Okay? So, isn't that crazy? We just gave them... Anyway, I'm not going to go there. But, so, things are still up in the air with Syria. It's not really stable. So, I'm a little worried about that. What else? There's something else that's not really in the news. Well, it's mostly pressure being put on Iran. Look at this. I wanted to show you this. Even American Express. American Express closes 30 accounts over suspected ties to Iran. This was in Iraq's news. So, but my thing is, who requested that they look into those accounts? And I'm not gonna post this, but you could look that up. Actually, probably you could look that up. But anyway, so some of the European countries, they're still saying they're gonna work with Iran, despite sanctions, that we're putting on or about to put on or whatever. So that's just the other thing. It's still an unknown. What's going on? How tightly is he going to squeeze Iran? And then how tightly are they going to squeeze Iraq? So far, even yesterday, someone was praising Sadani for his diplomacy in mediating between us and Iran. All right. So that's that. Okay. So now, this is today's, so it's Saturday, February 8th. This article is the one I'm going to talk about a lot. In light of the liquidity crisis. Oh, but wait. I thought there was no liquidity crisis, right? Remember, they brought out Soleimani's, the CBI governor, right? Oh, I said Soleimani. That's not his name. What's his name? Mohammed Saleh. And assured the citizens there's no liquidity crisis. Well, here's someone. Why doesn't Iraq resort to printing more currency? So actually, this is a really good article. You should read it. But I think it's another tricky little way for them to educate the citizens. Citizen education. So it says Iraq is facing challenges due to the scarcity of cash liquidity, which negatively affects the markets and daily financial transactions. While some are looking for quick solutions to overcome the crisis, the option of printing more local currency remains controversial, given the serious economic repercussions that may result from it. So they give them a history of the national currency. Hyperinflation is talked about. Then in 2003, they got rid of the old dinars. They got the first printing of what we call the 30 notes, right? So it goes into all of that. Where is the Iraqi currency printed? Which, unless if it doesn't say the U.S., they're not telling the truth. But yeah, see, printed in Switzerland. But whatever, right? Just, who? How much truth is there in anything anyway, right? Anyway, so here it tells them the Iraqi banknotes are manufactured according to high quality specifications, aiming to prevent their rapid damage and ensure their ability to withstand daily use for long periods through the use of modern materials and technologies that increase their lifespan. And that is so, despite what the currency is going through, there usually is a certain amount of money that's taken out of circulation because it's damaged, right? And so I'm guessing it must be budgeted in, or maybe they hold back some of the notes so they will have replacements. But I don't know. I don't know enough about money to know that. So, let's see. The next thing is an option on the government's table. So this article, I'm not sure who put it together. They take snippets from different economists, right? Different people. But here they're taking some statements from Mohammed Saleh, who is part of the government. He's the advisor to the prime minister. So they talk about financing and the deficit. Let's see. Here they talk about the monetary policy in Iraq is proceeding according to balanced standards with the fiscal policy and is consistent with the cycle of oil assets. All right. So see, it's really good. And it's long, it's pretty detailed, but it's a really easy read. Those of you who know I have reading comprehension issues, but this this article is really easy to read, which is another reason why I think it's meant to be education for the citizens. Here they talk about the categories they have, and the last one issued was the 50,000 dinar note in 2015. Pros and cons of printing. So they mostly talk about the cost, that it will cause inflation, and one other thing. But what they don't talk about is, well, we want you guys to go digital, so we're not going to print money, right? They don't mention that. And if they did, I overlooked it. But here, they even talk about bringing confidence back to the national currency. Let's see. Here's another. Here they talk about the CBI governor prior to Ali Alak. He tried. He wanted to do a 20,000 dinar note. Remember that? But, so I wanted to read this part because there's something interesting here. Now, I know it says in the coming days, but this was back then when he made this announcement. That's my phone. So the former governor of the central bank, Mustafa Makif, announced in 2022 that the bank is working on completing a new denomination worth 20,000 dinars based on a study and comparative research with neighboring countries, and is working on completing the shape of the note, and it will be announced in the coming days. However, it was never announced. They never did it. He also spoke about the issue of deleting zeros from local currency and stressed that the process of deleting zeros from the currency requires enacting a law and making some amendments. But yeah, and then some of the things that were talked about around that time is we could just take the 3 zeros off and then it would be a 20 note, because the Kuwait doesn't have 3 0 notes. That's a neighboring country. I don't think Saudi Arabia either. I don't think they have 3 0 notes. I'm not sure about the Turkish lira. No, the Iranian rial still does, but even in their country, they take zeros off and they call it the Toman. So that was interesting, and we were hoping back in 2022 they were going to, change the rate, but nope, we're still here waiting. So there's numbers and statistics. Again, here they say contributes to increasing inflation. So you see, it's really long. I know it's really long, but like I said, and it's not really, it's because this format of this blog is mostly for mobile phones, mobile devices, I guess. We're supposed to call them that now. But yeah, so I like seeing this. I really like seeing this because it's more information on the banknotes, right? Okay, now, oh, look at all that space. I don't know why that happens. Now, this would have been the headline article yesterday if I was able to post yesterday. So 3 days in a row now. Well, today would be day 4, and maybe later they'll have an article, but I'm going to be busy today, which is why I'm posting now. So, but listen to this. Al Sudani's advisor rebukes citizens for storing money at home and calls for investing it. And then the subtitle says, support the national economy. And here this guy is. This is not Mohammed Saleh. This is another Mohammed, but there's his last name. He's a technical advisor to the prime minister. So in this article, to rebuke is like to shame, to... Oh, well, I looked it up, right? I mean, when I think of rebuke, it's to shame, right? But we don't really use, unless in our culture, American culture, the only time they use shame is fat body shaming, or the walk of shame the morning after, right? Things like that. But making them feel guilty, right, is maybe another way that could be used. Because he kind of says, so he goes on and he does say the good things they're doing, there's been about $60 billion worth of investment in Iraq, while he pointed out that there is a large cash mass among citizens outside the banking system. So he's kind of like, yeah, we had all these investments, but if you brought your money in, we could do more, right? He talks about the gross domestic product exceeded 260 billion. And yeah, so if you brought your money in, right, you could open the door to a new phase of external financing, right? It's hilarious. I mean, I like seeing it. So I like seeing because it's like it's escalation, right? The other the days before, it was like, well, we know that people are hoarding cash in their homes, and we would like, because they're talking about all the restructuring of the banks, right? And we're restructuring the banks and going digital, and, if they would bring in their 3-0 notes, right? So, but he's like, no, you're holding up our investment, our GDP growth. You need to bring that money in now. And I bet you they're laughing at him, right? They're not dumb. They know when it'll be the right time to bring that money in. But also remember, I'm thinking since there's a heavy push, maybe they're trying to get in as many. Somebody left a really thoughtful, detailed comment on I think the last video that I did, saying, and it has been a discussion in dinar land, that there is too much dinar out in the world, and if everyone turned in the dinar all at the same time, how is Iraq going to afford to cover that? And there's been all types of things, excuse me, all types of discussion saying, well, the ones that are here in America, the Treasury's going to hold on to, so they don't have to cover that. But I'm like, you know what? They're just going to have to take a hit. It is, well, it's not their fault that this has been dragged out, but the rate change has been dragged out way longer than they thought, probably. More people, I closed out all my blogs. What do I say? Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate, right? And there's other people out there who like, get you some more currency while you can. So I think maybe at first they'll have to take a loss, but how quick will they recover with all the investment, all the projects that's going to just pour into them for years, right? At least 10 years. Look at that the development road path, whatever. They have plans all the way out to 2058. So I see the argument of that, but they can't hold off. I mean, of course they can, and it's actually not them holding off, right? It's the people who have the real power to do it, to hold off. But yeah, so I just think here's the last paragraph. He pointed out that there is a large cash mass held by citizens outside the banking system, which makes it economically useless. Okay, if it remains stored in homes, calling for transferring this money to investment projects that contribute to transforming it into assets that support the national economy and enhance sustainable development. So I'm thinking, they've released some bonds, they've paid out on those bonds as they were going to. If the citizens are watching the stock market, they can see that's performing better. And also, they've added a few companies, and they've made joint relationships with at least four, Jordan, Oman, Egypt, and one other somewhere across the pond, with their stock markets. So hopefully things like that will increase the confidence, but I don't know. But anyway, so yeah. All right. So here they held off. They had that. So these are the people who are striking in Kurdistan over salaries. So the people, oh, they would be on the hunger strike people, they're on their 11th day of hunger strike. And I think they're going to try to force feed them. There's some parliament people came to see them. One of the members of the ruling families came to see them. They're still not backing down. And so there was an article that there was a new committee being developed. And yeah, so I think they're going to try to force feed them. But remember, they were going to have their mass demonstration on Saturday. And I think the government got word of it and they were going to try to sabotage it. So they actually did it yesterday. All right, let's see. So here's Jamal Cougar complaining, if you don't hurry up and pass the 2025 budget, the delay is going to cause projects and people's services to be interrupted. Oops, also Donnie, I need to fix that. So here's about the exemption to get the gas, the electricity. I already really covered that in a summary. This, I really don't care about this, but it is a big deal, I guess. Iraq prepares to implement the first historic transfer operation through the international system. So it says TIR system, but then it also says IRU. So this is like some kind of union, and I guess this is the system, and it has to do with cross-border payment, but not only payment, tracking the goods or whatever. So it just reflects Iraq's commitment to modernizing the trade sector and adopting international practices. So yeah, they haven't done it yet, but they're going to. Now this is interesting. Will Iraq succeed in transforming into a digital economy? This last sentence really, if I had time, I would read all four of the sentences. This is an article you should read, right? But will the government succeed in convincing Iraqis to abandon cash in favor of electronic payment? Or will this initiative face failure as happened with previous projects? So they know they can't get them, even the Kurds that got paid. Where'd they go? Right to the ATM to pull their money out, right? So the Iranian currency is at a new low, and since this, it's gone to an even newer low. It's 850,000, or is it 9? Yeah, 850,000 approximately, but it's probably even lower. Oh yeah, it's right here. 850,000, but this was 2 days ago, right? It could be lower, and you see why right there, right? Okay, this is a good article too. Complex networks and methods of smuggling dollars from Iraq to Iran. An American report reveals the details. So they admit they got busted. We know they got busted. Um, I don't want to say smuggling money. I don't know. Whatever though, I guess it is. Smuggling money to Iran. Iran gave them gas to sell under the market of Iraq. Oil, excuse me. Iran gave Iraq oil to sell. And I believe they probably have names, quantities, dates, right? But I don't think they're going to reveal that. But so they were able to track how it was done, and they put it out. They put it out in this article, and you could read it if you'd like. And also the key is they've caught them. They've caught this network, right? And so I hoping, well, number one, if the citizens read this, right, they could react in two ways. See, we knew they were crooked. That's why we don't trust them, right? Or they could go, oh, they stopped some of the corruption, right? Yeah, so Okay, I think this is very interesting. I'm not going to read it though, but this is the title: Lost Fortunes, Iraqi Youth Risk All in the World of Crypto and Forex. And to me, what this really says is a lot of them are probably delving into crypto and Forex. They're probably making money, but what they choose to focus on are the ones who lost money. And they do, of course, they interview ones who lost money, and they talk about how the CBI doesn't support it, it's not regulated, all the bad things that if you've ever gone into crypto or Forex, they tell you it's not regulated, it's risky, all of those things. It's all in there. All right. Thank you to supporters who have bought me a coffee. And I welcome others. Buy me a coffee. This is a link. This is my one commercial. There's a link here if you click that, and the QR code if you do whatever with that. All right. So we were looking forward to this meeting today, right? The meeting has been postponed. At least these people backed out, the state administration. So I don't know if it was just them or if the whole meeting was postponed. But we'll find out later. I'll probably post tomorrow. Yeah, I know it's Super Bowl day. But I don't like to get, miss too many days, because then I like to keep these to 30 minutes, and it gets difficult when you're trying to smash in more than 2 days. And actually, I think we're almost done. Will the 2025 budget be affected by oil price fluctuations? The Economist explains, but we can skip that. Okay, here. We're still not sure. We still don't have an answer, but here's confirmation that that group, those 50 people who left Parliament on the day they voted on the budget, they submitted an official appeal during the voting session on amending the budget law. And they don't have an answer. And here they are. There's pictures of them. Now they have a finance committee member backing them. And I don't know if he's Iranian backed and he's a troublemaker, or if they have a legitimate gripe, you know. Yeah. So he came out today. This is today's news. He came out today with that. Industry holds a conference on accelerating procedures in investment security. So they want to get into other minerals and things that are in the ground. What are the resources? I don't know. But I do know minerals. There we go. Minerals. But is sulfur a mineral? I'm not sure. But there were articles where they were talking about how they want to take advantage of, or not take advantage, but start to make money with their sulfur. And so they need to, get it out of the ground and all that stuff. But yeah, so they quietly held that. Now I thought this was very interesting. So Sadani has given 2 speeches. One was on last night, and I think it was this one. And then this morning there was some kind of conference, and it has to do with corruption, curbing corruption. But I don't know. There's no articles about it yet. And he gave a speech there also. But this speech is about the 2024 budget, which we have yet to see. They still haven't exposed the Gazette number 4782, which has the changes, right? But yeah, so he went on to tell them, he talks about corruption here, disavowing corruption. Control of corruption is the first line of defense, and enhancing transparency. Of course, it's all about the citizens and their belief in the system. So it's not very long. You could read that. I'm not going to read it because I don't want to go too much over 30 minutes. But I think it's good. And then also, this is not the regular place that he does his speeches from. I've talked about this before. On both sides of the wall, you can't see here. There's this really creepy artwork. I don't know what it is. It looks like snakes of stone, but it's creepy to me. Let me take that back. I'm sure someone's gonna look at it and go, "Oh, it's marvelous. It's wonderful." Yeah, but anyway, even this floor back here, this is a different place. So, and if you know anything about government, everything they do is thought out and it has a meaning, right? Um, so yeah, not sure why he chose to do that speech from there, but yeah. Okay, so the last article is more about Iran, and I think this is yeah. This is the last article. It's short too, but I'm not gonna read it because we're at 31 minutes. But it's titled "The Dilemma of Linking Baghdad to Tehran." U.S. sanctions will destroy Iraq before it destroys Iran. So that was part of what I was talking about in the summary that I gave. Yeah. So that's, to me, all the articles are good, but I know not everyone has time or interest. So, all right. So we're going to wrap it up here. This is actually episode 19, but it may not fit in the title. All right. So I want to say thank you. Thank you, new subscribers. Thank you for listening, taking the time out of your day or night or whatever to listen. I want to say accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals. Pay all your bills. If there's a join, like, follow, subscribe type of button wherever you are enjoying this content, do whatever actions necessary to activate that because I don't post regularly. So if technology is working like it's supposed to, when I post, if you activate those buttons, you should be notified. All right. Enjoy your weekend. Yeah, that's it. I'll say thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you're enjoying this content. And until next time.